It's been quite a week. A lot of celebration, a fair amount of sadness around the world and in our congregation. The terror attack that began Hannukah, which I'm sure was not just because things in Australia have been bad over the last 2 years especially, but because Australia is the first in the time zones to light candles, so the first moment of Hannukah attacking then is particularly harsh. In the aftermath of the attack, there was a lot of conversation among community leaders, concerns in synagogues that we should restrict our Hanukkah celebrations. And I am proud to say that I have not heard of a single Hanukkah celebration that was changed, that I know of at least 9 public menorah lightings on the streets of Toronto. There was one every night, included our communities, city halls, both here and in Vaughan. Toronto Police Services had their own menorah lighting. And when I was at the lighting at City Hall this year, there was not a single protester that we saw. The police have worked hard to be especially diligent. But it doesn't lessen the shock. Someone said to me last week, Australia was always where I planned to go if things got bad in Canada. Unfortunately, while I was upset and angry, I wasn't shocked. We have all watched the clear rise of anti-Semitic rhetoric. We are aware of an increasing number of incidents around the world. And Australia has been among the worst. Jewish institutions have beefed up security, paid in part by public funds. Thank God, Australia has strict gun control, perhaps the strictest in the world. Imagine how much worse this could have been with automatic weapons. But when anti-Semitic incidents occur, Australia's Prime Minister and other officials, like we hear around the world, strongly condemn the acts, but don't change what they're doing. It seems that no matter what happens, they were not taking the threat seriously. We all learned the nursery rhyme, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." We know this to be patently untrue. It's untrue in the playground, and it's untrue at every other level. Words hurt. They often leave deep wounds that take a long time to heal, if they heal at all. When words call for armed uprising, whether it's Hamas's globalize the Intifada or ISIS's call for a caliphate to rule the world, these words have consequences. Almost immediately after the attack in Australia, Britain's police in Manchester and London announced they will begin arresting people if they are holding signs or verbally calling for intifada. Arrests were made shortly after their announcement. Prime Minister Starmer announced the British government increased Jewish security funding to £28 million and called for a review of protest and hate crime laws. In a statement regarding the changes, the police said, "Violent acts have taken place. The context has changed." I say words always have meaning and consequence. The context has not changed. Globalize the Intifada has always been a call for a terrorist uprising. People are just now, finally, opening their eyes. That Hannukah party in Australia was a well-known annual event. It drew over 1,000 people regularly, and yet there were very, very few police in attendance. There were fewer police there than we had at our shul on Rosh Hashanah. I am pleased that when I called Toronto Police Services to tell them we're having our Hannukah celebration publicly, we're going skating at Baycrest Arena, and then we'll be lighting candles outside, they were immediately attentive. They were appreciative that we let them know. And they have ensured police presence in our community, in our streets, and every day I see them here in our parking lot and patrolling. On Rosh Hashanah, as I already mentioned, we had presence here, not just the police we hired, but TPS doubled the number of officers who were here. You may have heard just recently about the terrorist plot that was foiled here in Canada. Cooperation of Toronto Police Services, OPP, and RCMP. Those arrests were made in August. They had been following these people, and they made sure that every congregation was covered, not only with the security that was hired by the congregation, but that they put many more officers on our streets, at our shuls, at our community centers. At the Queen's Park candlelighting, Premier Ford said, "We will always have your backs, we will always be there to support you, and we will not spare a penny to make sure that you are protected, no matter if it's at home or anywhere else." I appreciate these words spoken by Premier Ford. I appreciate the words that were said by Prime Minister Carney and Mayor Chow following the attack at Bondi Beach. But words are supposed to have meaning. They have meaning when they are backed up by action. Words have been spoken by all of these people previously, and we have not seen changes. I and much of the Jewish community am unimpressed. We will continue to demand action. We will ask all of our elected officials, regardless of their position, regardless of their party, to back up their words with action. Make sure that hate speech is clarified and classified as hate speech. Make sure that synagogues, community centers, and schools do not bankrupt themselves in order to be properly secure. We will be working on here at Beth Torah a program, an opportunity in the new year to provide our community with updates, letting you know what is actually happening from our community leaders and also from the Jewish Security Network. In the meantime, I'm always the optimist. I still believe there's hope. As I said, I am grateful for Toronto Police. I am appreciative of OPP and RCMP, and I know that their jobs are not easy, and they are working hard to protect us. I know that a majority of our community leaders, our political leaders, do want security and change. And I look forward to seeing them make those changes, but I will not stop demanding it. I ask you, do the same. Be aware, be vigilant, report any suspicious or concerning activity, even if you're not sure what it is. Be proud and proudly write and demand that our country keep us safe so that we know, we can be assured that what happened in Australia will not happen here. Demand change. Demand that we deserve all and that we get all of our rights as Canadian citizens.